Okay, so let me get a notepad. This is Victor versus Katarina coaching. Okay, so what have we got? We got first
Right? It
strike.
it says it's
What does it say?
it says that the processing it says it will take 70 minutes. So
70 or 17?
70
Oh, really? Interesting.
apparently.
Okay. I don't know. Sometimes though, that does say it's longer than it is. So let's just like check it in 20 minutes and see how it's doing.
Okay.
Because yeah, I know on like some of mine it says it's gonna take like 3 hours and then it's done like way before then. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But okay,
Okay.
let's have a look at this one.
Because the yeah.
If you okay, so I think to start, I'm not a huge fan of the setup. So I think it's like first strike is pretty good versus melees. I think because you can pretty consistently proc it. But I don't really think that Corrupting Potion is very good versus Katarina because like Corrupting Potion is good against champs that really want to poke you down a lot. So, like your Syndras, your Azirs, champs like that, or assassins that kind of need to poke before all inning. Like Zed can kind of be an example of Zed needs to get a couple WEQs before he looks to go on you. But Katarina doesn't really poke you at all, so this start doesn't make sense, and I think I would just want to start Doran's Ring instead. So it's got runes, items, sums, all that sort of stuff. I think Doran's Ring, like, way better than Corrupting versus Katarina, and just in general, like, Doran's in good slash, yeah, probably Doran in good slash most melee matchups, and then Corrupting versus like even matchups or just like poke heavy matchups. I think that's kind of the way because during corrupting potion is you don't really want to buy it. It's more like you're forced into buying it a lot of the time. Otherwise you just can't really contest your opponent. But so if you can just like not take it, then it's really
Okay.
good. But
No
there's lots of
one has
matchups where you kind of
summoned
just
a
have to have
friend.
it.
30 seconds until minions
Okay, let's
spawn.
go red team.
Do you when do you take Summonary or First
Um,
Strike?
Normally I take Airy if I'm versus a champ that I know again is going to be like I can poke out a lot, and I think also verse champions that won't build Doran Shield. So like an example would be Vex or something, right? Like Vex, she could go Corrupting Potion, but Vex can't really take TP, or at least like she normally doesn't. And also Vex, no Doran Shield, no Second Wind, so you're always going to be able to poke her out, right? If you verse a lot of melees, they'll have like Doran Shield, Second Wind, so the first or the Airy Scorch, it really takes a long time to actually poke them out. So like Airy is like good versus like weak laners that don't have sustain essentially. So examples like Vex, Corki, um, Silas honestly can be a good one. Silas. What else off the top of my head? Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to like look through the list, but like those ones really kind of speak out to me. Like I think both Airy and First Strike are pretty good. Let me actually just look at the mid list here. What else have we got? I think Cassio is another pretty good one. We'll add that. Pretty good versus Cass. Um, what else? Yeah, you can probably do it versus Talon if you wanted to. Everything else. If it's like personal preference if you want to do it versus Ari, because Ari does have sustain. At the same time though, Ari's weak in lane, so if you want, you can do it versus Ari. I probably wouldn't. I think it's good versus Zoe. It's good versus Echo. Maybe Fizz as well, because Fizz can't really go Dawn Shield. Yeah, I think those would be the main ones. So it's just those sort of champs where like your poke sticks basically that it's actually gonna mean something.
Okay. Yeah.
Minions have spawned.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so pushing, which I think is fine. Let's see where the enemy jungler starts. It's Lee Sin. And enemy jungler started bot because we see Mordekaiser starting in lane top. So
This I think
There you go.
I think the screen share is like lagging because
Oh. Um,
of my processing.
I can put it on lower
I can't
quality.
see your screen share.
Yeah, let me put it on lower quality and see if it makes a difference. Tell me if you can see that or not.
I can just see your like icon.
If you go try and like rejoin the call, like just disconnect and then reconnect, and then you should be able to reload it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
No,
there you go. Is it like clear or is it really laggy?
it's good. It's good.
Okay, okay. Tell me if it happens again and I can try restart it or something. Yeah, so far I think
Yeah.
positioning is pretty good. Not really any issues with this. I think, yeah, the corrupting pop just isn't really as good because it would be better to harass more. Or, yeah, Doran's Ring would just allow you to harass more, and the corrupting sustain doesn't do a whole lot for you. I also think biscuits probably aren't the best. Like, I think biscuits are never really bad, but they also just don't really do a whole lot for you in these sort of matchups. I'd probably go Futures Market and just try and make sure I get Chapter on my first base. But it's pretty irrelevant, honestly. Like, I think this is probably the least important row of runes, so yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Okay.
Now this ward, the timing is good. Yeah, I'd say the timing is pretty good.
First blood.
You could maybe be a bit greedier with it, and I think you should probably push this wave a little slower. So it's pretty unlikely that you get ganked super early in the game because Katarina doesn't have any gank setup. And I think that you have time to like push 3 waves instead of 2, and that just gives you more time to harass. And also I think it's really important, if you're playing a matchup where you can really heavily harass your opponent under tower, that you ward before you push in the wave. Because like what you want to happen is like when the wave is like this, you want to be like punishing your opponent really hard. So personally, I'd probably just like push
Yeah.
slower and then maybe at this point go in ward before it crashes. That way you can like really heavily use this. So I think I mean obviously like you're a diamond, right? So you're doing things mostly right, but it's just you can do them like a little cleaner, I guess. Like so I think 3 wave instead of 2 wave is better. And then I think, yeah, like the Dorans over the corrupting makes this either easier, and then try ward before the wave crashes, just so you can harass as much as you can. So, but yeah, like mostly it's solid. Okay. Okay, good. So you should be fine and walk out top. Yep. Good hugging. Yeah, this is good. Lots of harass. Yeah, so far no real big complaints.
This game went really badly.
Really. I do think the wave probably should have been crashed at some point earlier here because normally you push these first 3 waves so you can like start building up a pretty big advantage, right? But once you actually have the advantage, that's when you want to kind of start bringing it back out so you can like freeze it and look to punish her a bit more. But like right here, I think I'd probably be ordering this wave a lot because I think you really need this wave to crash before the next one comes out. Because the longer Katarina can keep it like right here, the better it is for her. And even this, like it's bouncing back to you, but it's still like very far up in the lane, so you can't fully harass her for it. I think it would have been better if it came out a bit more. And you
Yeah.
definitely shouldn't be ordering this wave. Like right here, you just want to focus purely on Katarina and not order the wave at all. Because like right now, you have TP and she doesn't. So she really has to try find a base. And you can just like hold the wave here. You can trade as much health as you want to freeze the wave. And you can even just like base and TP back if you wanted. But continuing to push the wave to her, it doesn't really do much because you don't really have the mana to poke her out under tower when she has Thorn Shield. And she should probably have Second Wind as well. But if the wave were like right here, you could maybe chase her down the lane.
I think. Yeah. I think. I saw Viego invading. And I didn't want her to move, but I guess she's quite low already.
Yeah, well, like
So I
you
shouldn't really worry
can
about that.
you can move to this first, even when the wave is frozen, right? So like let's say like right now, if Katarina leaves and you leave as well, she will miss more creeps than you do. And you can still get here pretty early. So I think as long as you like hug the top side so that Katarina can't just like walk for free and you're willing to follow, then it doesn't really matter. And I think, yeah, freezing the wave would just punish her a lot more because I'd say other
Oh
than
yeah.
those first 3 waves, it should pretty much be like out here or even here, and that's where you can like punish her the most. But instead, I'd say like the only reason this actually ends up pushing out to you is because she trolls, right? Like right now when you're ordering it, she can just wait and it's kind of fine. But I think she ends up what does she do? Like she's I don't know why she's trying to push this. It doesn't really make sense. So that actually kind of ends up good for you. So here, I just freeze the wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. Yeah, nice. Okay, so I think you kind of just misplayed, but I think the idea was good. What I would probably do here, and one, like you,
I tried to cancel her back.
yeah, yeah, I can see that. I think, I definitely understand why you did it. I just think
But
it's
then I
not
missed my
really
E,
the
so
right thing. What I
it
would
really,
probably do
yeah.
is I would come here in this bush, and then I would start my base, and if Katarina comes out, I would come out as well and hold it. If Katarina lets me base, then I would just base TP, and then it's like literally impossible for her to crash it because she'll be like 1 HP and you'll have a base. So this is kind of niche, like it doesn't come up that often, but it can be really
Oh
good
yeah.
to just like, yeah, pretty much like if you're trying to set up a freeze like with a base, just like go bush and wait, or go bush and or channel like the recall, and then like if they come out, you walk out and stop them. If they don't, you can always like worst case just like TP back and freeze. Because yeah, this is I mean it sucks because you're doing really well and then you kind of just like miss execute at the very last bit where I think you yeah like you miss laser, you don't quite have the right item, you know, you could have like built up a tiny bit of better lead. But I think the good thing is you're mostly doing the right thing. And if you do
I
it like a
can.
little better, you just win this, you know?
Yeah. I didn't. I thought. I didn't think she'd like immediately go on me. Like I was just blinding just to see if I could cancel, and then it just went wrong.
Yeah,
Because I didn't know she was there. I was just guessing.
yeah.
But
Okay. So it's definitely a little scary now. Because yeah, you kind of can threaten her a lot, but now that she has items, it's a little scary. I think you probably still win. Especially once you get 6, because you can just cancel her ult, but it's definitely more sketchy at this point. I think as well, you need to be a little more careful how you use your E's. So, like, normally Victor E is... I'd say it's pretty unmissable. Like, I don't really consider Victor E to be a skill shot. Actually, here, I think you were just using it to CS. Let me just check. Because I think E's like this, yeah, I guess you're just using it to CS. I think E's like that are pretty bad because the cooldown is really long, the mana is quite high, and it does a lot of damage. Like, if you use that E to get 26 gold, you're giving up 172 damage onto Katarina. Like, it's a lot of damage that you're giving up. Especially, well, honestly, just like pretty much throughout the entire lane, you should almost always be just using your E's on opponent and only really using E to wave clear once you have the upgrade. And Victor, once you have like 3 or 4 points in E, is really hard to lane against. Like most people will say that, you know, once Victor reaches that point, you just get poked out over and over, and there's nothing you can really do. So, yeah, be really careful about using E's like that, because I think it's not only is it like you're giving up the opportunity to harass Katarina, but you're also potentially giving her a window to go on you. Like if you're Katarina here right now, Victor's just used the ability he's putting all his points in. She can probably trade on you, and that means that you can't crash this wave, which would be really bad for you. But you get kind of lucky, which is
yeah.
nice. Yeah, I like that. Nice E. Wave in the middle. All looks good. Okay, I think honestly think that's kind of fine. Nice.
Red team has slain the dragon.
Yeah, this is all solid. I mean, you don't really... Like, yeah, I think this is really good. You're, like, denying a lot of creeps. She can't really roam anywhere here anyway. Maybe could have held that longer, but I think it's fine. Like, you've built up enough of a health lead that you can probably look to trade and stuff. Or just keep poking with E. Okay, I think this is... This was kind of bad. Let's see this. So...
Shut down.
Okay, yeah. So I think at this point in the lane, when you have this much mana, or like you don't have tons of mana, but you still had like Corrupting Pot, and like the biscuits. So I think at this point in the lane, you can afford to pretty much use E on cooldown. But if you feel like you're gonna miss too many, you should just time it with CS. Like this is really weird because you have E, and if she goes on you, like you can always alter. So I think you're fine. And it's like you're not using E to just like poke on cooldown, but you're also you're not using it when she goes for creeps. You're kind of just using it randomly, I would say. Like you're just like waiting, I guess. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you thought she was gonna go for that creep, but it just feels like the Viktor E's
Yeah.
could be worked on a lot. Like I'll just make a little note here. Like you really need like probably said like 90% Viktor E hit rate. Just because otherwise you just lose so much pressure over the lane. And so the ways you can like make that better is just obviously you can like aim better, right? Like that's pretty obvious. But you can try and like time it with CS. You can sometimes start with Q and then E. That way they're kind of like locked in whatever animation they're doing. Like they might go on you and then you E. But yeah, I think you really need to, or it might even be that you just like don't
Shut down.
not care about it, but you just don't realize how important it is. But yeah, also, this is probably Katarina specific, but just as a general thing, you need to think a lot about how your opponent wants to trade. So let's just put this like how your opponent like wants to trade, and then like position around that. So Katarina, for example, like is just gonna E on daggers. So as long as you stay away from daggers, it's fine. But if you're versus a champion like I don't know, Talia, you might want to stand behind your creeps. And then if you're versus a champ like Xerath, you might want to stand away from your creeps, right? So the way you position in each matchup should be different. And here, I think it's just kind of lazy if you get hit by stuff like that. Especially getting hit by both. Like, yeah, I don't think that really should ever happen as long as you position well for it. Okay. Okay, so this ward is kind of useless, I think. Okay, so I can kind of understand why you feel like you need a ward because you think you can get ganked here. What I would probably do, if you feel super scared and you can't really walk up to this wave, you're probably better off warding over this wall here just because it gives like a little bit more vision. I think warding this bush is just pretty much always useless because it provides so little vision. And if Lee Sin were in here and you were warding it, like you would just get queued on and lose most of your health anyway, right? So if Lee's in there, you kind of can't ward it anyway, you know what I mean? And also, if you just like look at your team, then it's like on her way mid. So you can just wait, probably, if you really felt super scared, you could probably give up one creep and Senna would be here in time to help you. But yeah, I think warding like that is really bad because if you're versus like a roaming champ, warding the middle of the lane can be really helpful for knowing if they're gonna like roam top or bot. And obviously like you're versus a ganking genre as well. So if you can get a ward like out here, it helps not just you, but your team as well. So yeah, it just ends up being like pretty fucking useless. I just realized this is center AD and not support. So I don't know why the fuck she's here, but anyway, it happens. So yeah, try ward further out. Or ward lane versus roaming champ. I think both of those are a bit better. Okay, base. We got chapter. Yeah, I like the pink. Looks good. I honestly would probably just ult Katarina when she does shit like this, because Kat doesn't really have a lot of sustain. Like, all she has here is her refillable. Like, she still has Doran's, but, you know, Doran's is really OP early game, but doesn't really do a whole lot at this point. So, if she commits to going on you like this, I would just ult her to cancel her ult, and then I would just fight her. Like, she doesn't have anything else, so your ult, it cancels channels, right? So, if you just drop it on her, it'll cancel her ult, and then you probably just... I mean, you almost won this trade even without ulting. So if you just chased her with ult, I don't think she dies, but she gets low enough that she can't really roam or do anything, and you're not going to get many other opportunities to ult anyway. Like, you kind of need to wait for her to go on you before you ult. Here, I think you're kind of giving her too much respect. So even though she's like 1-0, you have ult advantage, and you just like shouldn't really feel scared. I think that as long as you like hug this area, you probably can't get ganked by Lee Sin. And especially when she uses Q on the wave like this, like that's your turn to walk up, right? But here, like the way you're playing is like you're terrified. And if you're terrified of jungle, you're hugging the wrong side. Because like if Lee comes here and like kicks you, you have to flash, right? So I'm not sure exactly what you're scared of here. You're either too scared of Katarina when you don't need to be. Like she has no R, she just used Q. You definitely win fights right now. Or if you're scared of jungler, you're just like on the wrong side. So I think one thing to start thinking about would be cooldowns. Just like the fact that here, like Cat has like no Q, no R. That's like a really good time to punish, and they can't really do much about it. And then also trying to hug towards vision if you can. Obviously, your jungler is like kind of a ward sometimes. Like you can hug to your jungler as a ward. If your jungler's in river, then hugging to the jungler is really good. But right here, he kind of, it's not actually keeping you safe. You know, like if Lee comes here, Vega can't really help you with it. So I think it's probably better to be on that side. But yeah, I think the big thing is just Katarina is basically using everything, and nothing's really being done about it. And also, like when she E's forward like that, the E is good, right? But your options to punish are limited because you're so far back. Like if she does that and you're up here, then suddenly it's like an E and a Q auto, right? Like you get a little bit more, but because you're so far back, you just can't really get a whole lot done. Yeah, like that's good. I like that. Choose cooldowns. Yeah, I like the ult as well. Good punish. Okay, so what happened here? Like, I think this was all fine. You have Corrupting Pots ticking. She's really low. I think, again, as long as you stay on this side, or, like, away from the dagger, basically, you can just, like, keep poking her. But here, you kind of just, like, yeah, I don't know. You made it really easy for her. That seems kind of lazy to me, almost. Like, this is the only way Katarina can trade. Yeah, it's the only thing you need to think about. But yeah, you die again, which is... That's really rough. Yeah, it really sucks. But honestly, like, I think the good thing...
first death.
Yeah, the first death definitely makes it way harder. But I think the good thing for you is I feel like you're doing like the big conceptual stuff right. It's just you're kind of like missing the final steps, I feel like. And that's pretty good to have. Like, it's a good problem to have. I definitely think you can get master if you improve a bit.
Yeah, I definitely should have punished after she was too old. I wasn't even thinking about that in the game, I think.
Yeah. Wait, did you? Is this a new ward? Oh no, that's Zera's ward. I was like, how the fuck? But no, that's not even yours, so... Okay. Yeah, I mean, even though you're behind, you're still kind of chilling. Like, you mega outscale her. Yeah, nice ult. Yeah, see, like, if you do that, she's just completely fucked. Imagine if you weren't 0-2, you would just be shitting on this guy now. Oh, jungler killed him anyway. Okay, yeah. So... You're in a great spot.
I think. Yeah, I can't remember what happened in this game.
You're actually up so gold after being solo killed twice. That's insane. That must feel so good. Okay, so Cat goes bot. There's no way you can get bottom time. So you just take the tower. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, push another one. Why not? Okay, how much gold do you have now? 900. Okay, things are looking good.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Okay. Alright, so two things I'll just quickly bring up. A lot of people are going tier second on Victor right now, like going Archangels, and I think that is pretty good. But the problem with it, obviously, is it slows down your early game a lot. So I think if you're going first strike, it's probably worth buying a tier on your first base or something, or even your second base. I wouldn't buy it first item, like, I mean, I would start with it. But if you're going first strike, you're definitely committed more for scaling. So I'd say if you're going like first strike, you probably want Archangel second, so this is like tier first or second base. But then if you have Airy, you really don't want to spend 400 gold on a tier early. So then you can just go like Luden's Shadow Flame or whatever you normally build. But I think it should be dependent on your rune, I think.
Should I still? Yeah.
You
Should I not go Dark Seal then if I go tier?
No, you can go Dark Seal as well. Like I think your first base should be something like tier plus Dark Seal, right? But you definitely don't want to do that if you have Airy, because like Airy you really need a snowball to make it worth it. So if you just spend 400 gold on, you know, kind of a useless item early, that's like really shit. But first strike is good because obviously you're gonna hit your spikes quite a lot quicker. So yeah, you can kind of afford to lose the gold. This is kind of that's kind of fucking random.
I don't think I don't think he'd kill me. I think I could have just run away, but
yeah,
I didn't think he'd one-shot me.
he
He
flashes.
was full up,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I honestly don't even think that death really matters. Like, you're not gonna lose that much off it. It's way less important than the last two deaths. Okay, yep, this is still fine, just farming. Holy shit, that guy does a lot of damage. How fed is he? Oh, he has 7 kills.
I think, yeah, he was 7. Yeah, I didn't realize he was so fed. Just got one shot.
I think again, by the way, this ward is really fucking greedy. Like, if there are people in here, if this is Lee Sin or Fiddlesticks, oh, I guess you just saw Fiddletop. But I think that's like kind of a greedy ward, and I don't think it tells you anything either. Like, having vision of this, it doesn't, yeah, I don't know, it doesn't really help you. So, just as a general rule, pretty much never ward this bush. It just sort of sucks. And then you end up losing a lot of, well, yeah, you end up dying for this, right? I think this death is pretty bad because that's like a cannon wave that you're going to end up missing. Now, obviously, if you're like more fed, it's easier to avoid these deaths, but I think it's been a few times where you've kind of, you have potential to get kind of killed or die, or not die, like get chunked out for warding this bush, and it's just, yeah. It's just not really ever worth it.
So I should have just played safe.
Yeah, I think you just wait. Like, you're not really in a rush to do anything. If anything, like, they're the ones on the clock, because they have, like, Lisa and Katarina. Meanwhile, you guys have Gangplank, Victor, Senna. So, like, all you need to do, really, is try not to die anymore and just relax, and you'll probably win. But the more deaths you have, the easier it is, you know, for the trash team comp to kind of just get... Holy fuck, dude, what was that Gangplank damage? Let's see that again. Actually, like, one-shot him. I have 50, and he's level...
We could have won this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say right now, like, you guys are definitely winning, so... Okay, come clear mid. All fine. Okay, actually, let's go back. So... This looks like... You guys can't quite get dragged because... Okay.
Oh, actually,
yeah, I think you guys probably just shouldn't do drag.
yeah, I remember what happened to him.
I think Gangplank should probably just go bot.
Yeah, this went really bad.
Ah, yeah. I don't think this is really your fault, but what I do think is your fault is you should probably not go to this. Like, I think I think it's too late for you to really impact this. Maybe you get one kill, actually. Yeah, you get one kill, but inevitably you're going to die to this Ezreal straight after. Yeah, okay, and he gets really fed. I think here, it's probably you just one-shot this wave, and at least they lose that. It's just way too late to go to this. And I think you really need to prioritize the farm a bit more. So let's go mid-game. I think, like, same thing with early game. You pretty much always want to push and then move, just because that makes it easier, but... yeah, it's like, if you just think, like, what do you have here? It's like, you're a Viktor on 40% health, and you have no flash, and you have 1,000 gold. So you really, really don't want to fight right now, but instead, like, sure, you come in and get a kill, or Senna gets the kill, but yeah, that guy just farms you both, so... yeah, not the best. Okay, but anyway, we run bot. Okay, yeah, good flank. Nice, I like that. That guy stole your kill, but it's fine, it's fine. Okay, so, let's see. I think, like, right now, the fight's going pretty well. You've still got, like, people in front of you. I think right now, the way you position needs to be... I guess you just, like, kind of need to think, right? So when you're team fighting as Viktor, normally you always want to be behind someone. So your two options here are you can either run up with them, or you can, like, run down and kind of play back here. But what you can't do is, like, walk past them, you know, like this way, just because now you've got no one in front of you, and Lee Sin can just do whatever to you. I think you just die for that, right? Yeah, I'd say probably right here. Like, yeah, I think once that happens, you just need to, like, run down. Yeah, I'd say, like, run down. Just try to get away. But I think once you commit to this, it's like, at best, you get a 1-for-1. You probably should have tried to chase Fiddle there, but you're dead either way, I think. And you're just really weak. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about that, but... yeah, let's just skim through the rest of this game, because I think it is sort of out of your control now. It's like, if your teammates play well, you can probably win, but if not, it's gonna be tough. Okay, I like getting the bot tower though, that's good. Oh, that was so close. He was low, right? Yeah, holy shit, if you weren't like 0-10 to kill. Okay, we'll just look at some of the team fights and then we'll look at a different game. Okay, your team actually won that without you. I think you should maybe TP to Baron? You guys should be able to do it. Do they not want to do it? Okay, weird. I think if they were doing Baron, you should probably TP to it. I don't know why they didn't do it.
I think I did ping for them to do it, but maybe I didn't. I was thinking about Baron.
Yeah. I think that definitely should have been a Baron. How much gold do you have? 890. Yeah, let's just skip ahead to team fight. Okay, so Viego just like dies randomly, which sucks. But they did use some stuff, so maybe you can team fight. They got Baron, but I think you can fight after. Yeah, so I think this is kind of just not playing on your range that well. Like, one advantage Viktor has, right, is your movement is like very fluid. Like, you can E while moving, so you can just like E people and walk away. But like this here, when you're just like walking up to Ezreal and like kind of like melee ranging him, that's not really what Viktor wants. Like, you probably just want to poke this guy from range, and then if he comes up a bit closer, then you can like look to turn and Q ult or something. But okay, you actually got the shutdown, which I'm kind of amazed you got that. But yeah, I think that was just not very...
I think he ulted. He ulted and then my ult.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, you got rabbit on. Okay, I'm actually curious. Like, how do you guys lose?
I think I threw. I remember. I still ulted. I think I got caught like at the last fight and then everyone died. If I remember.
Okay. Yeah, I think same thing. It's just like the melee range Victor, and maybe this is more like tunneling because like yeah, I definitely agree that this guy's like the most valuable target. I think right here though, you can just like E and then just like keep playing on your range and it goes pretty well. But when you yeah, when you kind of like commit yourself to a 1-for-1 like that, I don't really think it's that great. Although your team should honestly probably still win the fight even with that. So let's see, how does it go wrong? Maybe they do win the fight. Yeah, okay, they won the fight anyway, so I guess like my biggest feedback for the like team fighting would be try play on your range more because even though you do a lot of bursts, you have good sustain damage. So if you can stay alive a long time, like that's ideal. And also like definitely E poke a few times. If you can get R and Q without dying, that's great, but you really don't want to get chunked out for free as much. And yeah, try also stay behind people at pretty much all times, unless they've already used a bunch of cooldowns, right? Like if they've used anything, you can kind of run in and just ape them. But if they, yeah, if they've still got everything, then it's sort of difficult for you to frontline. Okay. Don't think you can do anything about that. Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't really blame you for dying to that. Fiddle's a really weird champ to play against. There's nothing else really like it. But it doesn't seem to matter, like you didn't lose the game there. Okay, one more team fight, let's see what happens.
Yeah, I got caught. We could have won this.
Okay, yeah, so
I
stuff like
think
this.
yeah, I was just full tilt. I was full tilt at this point.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I think stuff
I
like
almost got
this.
as well, but
Yeah, it was close. Like if you can 1-for-1, it's not too bad, but I think the main problem with this is in the mid game, you really need to like try and like track what your teammates are doing. Because if we just pause this right now, like when you're going up to this, okay, like right here, it's like okay, Stena just finished clearing top, Xerath is coming out of base, Gangplank wants to recall, and Viego's just like full clearing or something, right? Or maybe he's coming mid. But basically, even if you get this wave, it doesn't do anything because your team's not ready to pressure anyway. So here, you just need to wait for your teammates to be in position anyway. Like, you actually have pretty decent vision around mid, but it's sort of a bait, right? Because Lee comes, but I just think it doesn't really make sense. Like, even if you get this wave, I don't think it does anything for you. So, yeah, just trying to find out what your teammates are doing. Like, are they, like, recalling? Like, where are they pathing? This is definitely harder. Like, I think this is you can definitely get master without knowing this. And honestly, you could probably get challenger without knowing this, but it also saves quite a few random deaths, and I think it'd be pretty important for you like in the long run. But I wouldn't worry about it too much now. But anyway, do you want to check if that replay, the other one, is finished processing? We can have a look at it.
yeah. Okay, I think it has.
Yeah, I don't know why it says it's like 70 minutes and then it's just done in like 10. I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, I don't really know if it's like I uploaded it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on my videos.
Yeah.
Um. Oh wait. Okay. Never mind. I've got it. Yeah, I've got it. I think it's yeah.
Okay, Victor versus Akali. Let's see if it works. Yeah, looks good to me. 1080p. All right. So what happened this game? What do you think went wrong?
Oh, we won it, but I didn't really do much. I was against Nikali, I didn't really. I kind of got carried.
Hmm.
Um, I'm pretty. I find Akali pretty hard as Victor. Um, I kind of just played safe and try not to die. I
Uh,
think
yeah, well, I don't think that's like the worst idea because I
up to level
think,
6.
yeah, you can bully Akali pretty six, but it's pretty hard with Jarvan. I honestly think like I think this is the game you went 4-0-2. That honestly might just be all you can do this game. Like I'm sure there'll be stuff better than that we can do, but okay, yeah, so this would potentially be a game that I might think about taking tier because Akali can't really pressure the lane anyway. And also your poke against Akali doesn't stick. Like she has second wind, Doran Shield, you pretty much can never kill her. I think Corrupting Potion though definitely makes no sense. Like if you need something for lane this game, it's definitely Doran's. But I think you could get away so like tier good versus like free scaling matchups, which is like either yeah, I don't know, just champs that are unkillable or like tanks or just stuff where you're not going to get anything done early anyway. And I don't think Akali can really do much to you either, to be honest, because she doesn't really do anything pre-6, and by the time you are 6, you have enough wave clear to just kind of ignore her. So yeah, it's like a you don't really interact much outside of skirmishes.
So are people going Seraph's second item like every game or
Not every game. Like I think there's still
situational?
yeah, there's still a fair. I mean, we can actually look here, see what people are doing right now. There's still like quite a lot of Shadow Flames, but I think that Seraphs is like definitely the better item, and I think in competitive, pretty much everyone's gonna go Seraphs. But I think that there's an argument in solo queue that the early game matters quite a lot, and obviously like Shadow Flame spikes quite a bit earlier, and it has a nicer build path. So yeah, there's definitely still an argument to build Shadow Flame, but again, if your early game isn't going to do anything, you might as well just go Seraphs. At least that's kind of what I think. It does feel really fucking
Okay.
good when you complete it. Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's a hell of a lot you can do, honestly. Where did Jarvan start? Jarvan started top side? Yeah, top side. Okay, so this also is really fucking greedy. So when like since we know bot lane started in lane, we know Jarvan's starting top side, right? We're starting red. Jarvan is one of the best red to mid gankers in the game. Like probably like Jarvan, Xin Zhao, maybe Lee as well. They can just like red mid and you can die. So the way you're hugging here is actually just asking to die, pretty much. Like if Jarvan comes mid, you either lose almost all of your health and have to base, or you're just forced to flash, and then Jarvan will just gank you again. So I think that's like a habit you really need to start getting into. Let's go first Kali early game. I think really try find out where the jungle starts at level 1 and like try hug away from that because yeah, you can definitely get pretty hard punished here. This is all good harass though. Yeah, so this ward I don't think makes a ton of sense. Like the ward timing is good, but I'm not sure it's on the right side. So I think that there's a pretty good like since we know Jarvan started top, he's probably if he hasn't ganked you mid already, he's probably bot side by now. So then the top lane ward doesn't really help you that much. Like it's still fine to hug towards this ward and you'll probably be safe, but the ward doesn't really tell your team very much information. So normally you ward opposite side of where the jungler starts, and you might already know that and just not have checked where Jarvan started level 1. I'm not too sure, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I didn't um I didn't realize he started top.
Yeah, I think that's like real important to check. It's probably the most important thing because it really affects where you're gonna stand for the first like 3 or 4 minutes of the game. But yeah, I think this is. I think if you could have crashed this wave a tiny bit earlier, it would be better because I think having the wave so far up versus Jarvan is a little scary. But at the same time, like Akali doesn't have gank set up, you probably won't get ganked, so maybe this is fine. Okay, maybe it's not fine. Yeah, okay. So I think this is just like normally you can crash like these first three waves and it's safe, but the longer you stay up this far, the worse it is. So I think what I normally do is like the first wave and the second wave, I'm slow pushing, right? But then once it's the third wave, I'm just like spam autoing this on cooldown because I want it to get under the tower like as soon as possible. And I think there's like you missed like one auto maybe at the
Yeah.
start, maybe another auto here.
I think my E was bad. I should have
Yeah,
played the
maybe
E
like
extra time.
1E on the wave. I think if you'd done those like it's almost under. If you push this maybe like 1 second quicker, then you're actually in a good spot. And if it does end up here, you probably just want to purely last hit. Although, or you could try hard push this one under the tower. Basically, you just really don't want this wave state because you're in a mobile mage versus a ganking jungler, and this is always going to happen if the wave is pushed up like this. So and actually, if you had placed your ward bot side, you probably would have been fine. Like, if you placed like a 230 ward bot side and then hugged to it, yeah, you probably would have been fine. So, all these like little mistakes you're making is definitely like making the game more difficult for you to play. This is kind of fine. Also, yeah, like look how useless corrupting pot is in this matchup. It's actually so useless.
Yeah.
Like you didn't use a single stack, right? Yeah, you didn't. Oh my god, yeah, that sucks. Okay, let's come back. Nice freeze though. Or we can't hold it forever, but if you can hold it for as long as you can, that would be good. Yeah, okay, I don't think you can hold it any longer, so that's pretty decent, I'd say. Um, yeah, okay, so I think pinking these side bushes is kind of fine. Like, I don't mind pinking these so much because at least you're going to get a bit more vision out, but I still think that it's much better if you can ward further out, and I think it's probably worth at some point taking the time to do so. Like I think right now you can go like, do I have Rift Kit open? Uh, yes, I do. Oh, that was in a previous session. So I think let's move that. You're like right here. I think you have the time right now to like come here and like pink that and then like come back mid, right? Or something like that because you don't really want priority on these waves anyway. And I think like that pink that you place in the very corner here or whatever, it shows so little vision. Like if we look here when you actually place it, like look on the mini map how little vision that shows you. Like it gives you pretty much no time to react at all. And I think you definitely had time here to go and
Yeah.
ward just a bit further out. Get ganked by Lux, that's really annoying. Yeah, you kind of can't do much here. Like you don't have any vision. Yeah, ulting the wave is it's interesting because like ulting the wave is good, but at the same time, if
She
Akali's good and
froze.
now knows, yeah, it's like she knows you use cooldown, so she can just freeze. But if she's bad and just clears it, then it's kind of fine. I think she should walk up on you here probably, but all right,
Because
well, you got away with it.
yeah. I'm used to Kali. I'm used to Kali just one-shotting me at level 6.
Yeah,
So I was really scared
yeah, yeah. I
of
definitely
like
see
pushing.
that. Okay, I like the ward. Ward's good. Okay, she clears that. Oh, she didn't clear it. Okay, well, yeah, I think you're kind of chilling right now. Like this is sort of what you want to do. Like you're definitely doing the right thing here. Yeah, like just knowing how this kind of game played out and like you ended up like 4-0 but you felt like you didn't really do anything. I think the reason it kind of feels like you don't do a lot is well one, like that's just kind of how Viktor versus Akali is gonna be. But also it's like you're playing this like early game where you're just focusing on scaling, but you're not scaling as much as you should because like the corrupting part is unnecessary. You should probably go tier. I think you've missed a lot of CS because you were forced to flash. Your wave wasn't as good. The wards have never been able to help anyone else on your team. So basically, like, even though you haven't died, it's you haven't been able to help your team with wards when I think you could have, and you're not going to scale as well as you should have because you just like made a lot of misplays. Because what I think like this sort of state, if you're 0-0 versus Akali, like that's really fucking good. You're just gonna destroy her in the mid game. But yeah, you should be able to do more than this, I guess. And wards actually are one of the best ways I think to help your team, even if like you're sort of useless. Like if you can pink the river, that tells your team quite a lot. So yeah, I think that's pretty important.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that ward is again just like really useless. So you probably didn't see it in the moment, but Jarvan is top. But what I would probably do is try and push out this wave and then either get a deeper ward or again, just like how you were versing Katarina, just place a ward like in the lane like that. And at least that tells you like what Akali is doing. If you can't get any ward outside of the lane, I think that ward can be useful. Okay. When this, by the way, they did actually play Viktor versus Akali in like the LCK show match, and Chovy went Rod of Ages Seras, which I think is probably too much scaling for solo queue. But if you feel really scared of Akali killing you, you can go Rod of Ages first item because the Catalyst makes it really hard for Akali to kill you. But personally, I don't think you need it. But if you want to just like mega scaling, you could try it. It's really greedy though, really fucking greedy. I think this is maybe like a bit too much respect. So the thing with like Akali's all in is Akali pretty much always has enough damage to kill you, but it's more about space. Like if Akali fights you here, she doesn't have enough room to chase you down the lane. But if Akali fights you up here, she can definitely chase you down the whole lane and kill you, right? So I think like right here, as long as you're like standing up here, you're like fighting in your creeps, I think you can realistically contest her like with Q and E and R. But I think, yeah, here you're just kind of getting walked off the wave, and I don't think she is that strong. Like if you look at her items, she is not strong enough to where she can walk like a full HP Victor off the wave. So this is just too much respect, and I'd think about this a lot versus Assassins because he kind of gave Katarina a lot of respect too, but basically, like, assassins, most of them anyway, need room to chase you down. And if they don't have it, then you can play, like, a lot more aggressively than you normally can. Like, once the wave gets up here, like, yeah, I can understand being a bit scared about this. But when it's, like, back there, that's your chance to harass when you're kind of safe. Yeah, that works. So you push, base. Hey, that guy's annoying. Oh, yeah, you're, like, down 20 CS. That should never really happen. You should definitely be up CS on Akali.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, Akali hasn't done a whole lot to you. It's just you've kind of done it to yourself. Like, you just, like, zone yourself off the wave. And again, that's, like, kind of good because it means, like, once you fix it, then you're in, like, a great spot. You know, it's not so much your opponent's being good as it is you being bad. And then once you fix it, it's simple because you're just going to have a lot more CS, you're going to have a lot more gold, you'll be able to carry games a lot easier. Okay, so Akali here has Akali get 2 kills. So TP mid, see Akali. This, by the way, is like one of those situations where you might want to ward middle of the lane. Because like right now, it's really hard for you to get vision anywhere else. But warding the middle of the lane tells you where Akali's going to go. Here, you can probably guess she's going bot side because you do kind of see her disappear bot. But like, yeah, you don't know for sure. And I think also pinging missing doesn't really do enough. Like a lot of the time, people just don't see missing pings. You really need to use like the retreat pings. Yeah, like stuff like that. I think you need to use it a lot earlier because like realistically, Akali can kind of be bot lane by the time you're pinging, and so it's sort of too late for them to really leave. Yeah, and Akali just like gets a double kill. At least you punish pretty well. Like I don't think you can go bot. Taking plates is good. Oh yeah, you actually trade back a lot of gold, so like this part's good from you for sure. But I think the first part is not that great. Yeah, you got a lot of gold there though. I mean that's pretty good. Let's just kind of skim through to some of the skirmishes. Okay, this is good. Like, I think this team fighting, by the way, this is like a lot better than your previous team fight. Like, the whole time, Kled is in front of you. Like, all the threats, Kled is in between them and you. So this is like real good positioning, and you will kind of notice if a team fight goes well if you come out of it with lots of health, because a lot of the time, if you win a team fight but you're low HP, you kind of just like immediately have to base, right? But if you win a team fight like this on full HP, not only do you win a team fight, you get to push a wave, you can take a plate, you can push another wave. So a lot of the time, the difference between like winning a team fight and winning a team fight like cleanly is really big. You get an extra like 600 gold or something if you can manage to take everything afterwards. So positioning like this is like straight up, obviously like this is just like one skirmish out of many, but like this team fight, this is challenger level positioning. You just need to do this more often, because like this is so good. You have 3 threats on the other side of a Kled. The other threat, you've got another 2 people in between you. Like this is, yeah, straight up, it's challenger level positioning. It's just, you need to way more consistently create that sort of situation rather than it just kind of happening randomly.
Oh.
Okay, that's good. Lots of gold. Come top, farm. Yeah, okay, like you're so fed now. Let's just see if there's any more skirmishes. There's one here. I think this is like okay, because I think if this guy commits onto you and you flash, like he has nowhere to go and you can just kill him. So I don't mind playing aggressive there. And I think, yeah, like keeping Udyr kind of in between you. Yeah, it's good. I like it. I think here you maybe could have played a bit more aggressive. So, like, at this point, I get it, playing safe. Right here, though, Ornn just used his cooldown forward, and this guy's like level 9. I think you could probably walk more forward here. I don't think Jarvan's just going to go on you with 10% health. So, yeah, maybe could play a bit more aggro there. But again, like, I think that was pretty solid positioning. Too big an issue. Okay, then you guys just, looks like you just got Baron in one, pretty much. Okay, yeah, I don't really think there's anything else to that game. So
Yeah.
I guess like for both games, let's just like talk about like what I think you need to work on. I think the good thing is you're doing a lot of the hard stuff right. Like you got a lot of the concepts down, but there's just like not enough adaptation, I think, a lot of the time. And also it's just like not clean enough, pretty much. So I'd say the first thing in terms of like runes and items, like I think that's really easy to fix. Just like the stuff we talked about up here, like changing your maybe changing your rune based on matchup, changing your item based on matchup, and I think yeah, even tier has a place. So all that I think is like little optimizations. Early game, I think yeah, the first 3 waves are really important for just like harassing your opponent, but also like make sure you find out where the jungler starts, because that is so fucking important for early game. Like you just kind of have to know, otherwise you just yeah, you can really easily die. I think cooldowns are another thing to kind of keep track of, like, and when they get used you can like be more aggressive. I think another one is you you're like too respectful like when the wave is on your side, because a lot of the time when the wave is on your side they can't really do anything except get harassed. So that's like yeah, they can't really do anything about it, I think. And actually with that in mind, like think about how your opponent trades. So obviously here, I only saw assassin matchups, but in both of those, they need space to chase you down. And like Katarina especially is really obvious. Like she has to go on her daggers, right? And I think you're just like respecting them when they don't need to, and then you kind of take damage also when you don't need to, because you kind of just like yeah, move up too far. So I think these are like the biggest things to work on, just in terms of cleaning up the early game is probably the biggest part. Or maybe warding further out as well. And then, so like those are definitely the biggest things. I think smaller things that you want to work on in the future, it's probably like your team fighting, or like tracking people in the mid game. Like, yeah, I'd say probably those two. But yeah, I think this for now, just like work on cleaning up your early game for the most part. Um, yeah, okay. I'll copy this to you. Do you have any questions about anything on here?
Yeah. Hear where the enemy jungler is, and then just purposely ward when you know they're not gonna be near you, or do you like?
Um,
Because I've died a lot, trying to ward. Like,
well, I think are you talking like about the very first ward of the game, or like you mean the ones
no,
where you're
just
kind of
like
warding
when
the
you,
side?
yeah, when you're warding like the dot bush or
Yeah, okay. What I normally do
around
is
there.
I try and ward the side my jungler's on. So, like, for example, if my jungler is like top side, then it's like a lot safer to walk in and ward top side because if you do encounter the jungler, a lot of the time you can run to your jungler, and that can be kind of fine. Other ways is like if you can push the wave first so that the enemy mid's under tower, then at least it's just a 1v1. Um, Another way is like if you push first, the jungler might not know which way you went, so like they don't see you. You could walk that way. Like if you really want to be safe, you should at least be able to ward like this, right? And then once you have that ward, it's a bit easier to get that one. So I don't think it should happen too much, but honestly, if it does happen to you, like send me a clip of it because I bet there's probably like a way to know that's gonna happen, or maybe the way you did it was kind of wrong. So yeah, it's kind of hard to say without an example, but
Yeah.
if it happens to you, just like send me a clip on Discord and I'll have a look at it.
Okay.
All right, sweet. Well, I think that's
Yeah, because
everything,
that's
pretty
why I
much.
started warding. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
that's why I started warding those shallow wards because I kept dying.
Yeah, you just feel like, yeah, you feel real unsafe. Yeah. I mean, I definitely understand that. Like, you're in a mobile mage, it definitely feels scary, but I think it's almost worth taking the risk. Like, obviously, you never want to die, but like these wards provide so much info for your team, whereas like warding something like this, it only helps you pretty much. It's like extremely selfish, and the only thing you can really contribute to your team early is like a little bit of vision. So yeah. But anyway, I'll upload the session
Yeah.
for you and send it to you, and then it's you can go through it and maybe look at some of it again. But yeah, otherwise if you have other questions, just message me or whatever. Or if you have more now or whatever.
Yeah. No, I think not right now. Thank you for this.
Alright, sweet. Well yeah, it was nice to talk to you, and I'll send this to you later, and otherwise, good luck. I definitely think you can get master. Like you're not that far off. You just need to clean up a lot of little things.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully I will.
Alright, sweet.
Thank you.
Well, see you later.
Yeah, see you.
Alright, bye bye.